Hi everyone. Mito just updated their agent feature. So let's take a look at how we can use the agent feature alongside the AI chat and the Mito sheet to do some data analysis. As we can see here, I've just opened up a new tab in my Jupyter notebook. And I've gone ahead and uploaded this data into the new Mito sheet. Today I'm working with some email data. As we can see here, we have hundreds of users and 2 email subject line variants, A and B. We have information about sign up date, whether or not the user is mobile, whether the email was opened, and whether it was clicked. We have a pretty good setup here for A/B testing. Let's say that we'd like to find out the click-through rates for the 2 different variants, subject line A and subject line B. We can go ahead and start off by exploring the data by ourselves using the Mito UI. Let's say that I wanted to only filter by A variants. I can go over here and click the filter icon, add a filter, and I'm going to select contains, I'm going to select is exactly and press A. Here we're getting the notification that it's removed an additional 510 rows. And as you can see down before, we also have this filtered variant code, which is really useful for making sure that your code keeps up with the analysis that you're doing in the spreadsheet. I'm going to delete that because we want both of the data points of A and B. We can also move around columns, for example. Let's say I wanted this variant column to be on the left side of the user ID column. I can go ahead and just move those. And just as before, the reordered column variant shows up and the appropriate code shows up down below. I'm just going to move those back for the sake of ease. The same goes for inserting rows, deleting rows, finding and replacing, pivot tables, merging, and so on. All right, let's get started with our A/B testing. I'm going to head over to the left side of the screen here and click the agent. Because I want to look at click-through rates for the 2 different variants, I'm just going to go ahead and type exactly that into the agent feature. I'm just going to say, all caps, really excited there. Let's conduct an A/B test on the email A/B test dataset. I want to know the click-through rates for both variants. All right. As we can see, I'm giving it a decent amount of information here, but this is not all necessary. And just within a few seconds, the agent is taking over my screen. So I'm not typing anything now, and it's going ahead and implementing the necessary steps to do an A/B test. All right. It's still acting, and it looks like it's already calculated the click-through rate. Let's scroll back to the top to understand what it did. It started by loading the data into a data frame. Perfect. And it seems like the attempt initially didn't work, so now it's trying one more time. It looks like it wasn't able to initially locate the name, but eventually it was. Perfect. All right, then it goes ahead and groups by the individual variants and calculates the click-through rates for both. Awesome, and this variant information shows up here. So it looks like the click-through rate for A was 0.077, and the click-through rate for B was 0.084. We can do even more analysis on this. Let's say that we want to find out whether or not someone opened an email, or even understand how sign-up date relates to whether or not they clicked through. I'm going to go ahead and toggle over to the chat function. The agent is really great when you want it to just kind of take a prompt and run with it, but if you want to work at a more nuanced level, I really prefer the AI chat. I'm going to go ahead and say, how can we analyze the relationship between sign up date and whether or not someone clicked through? The chat is going to think for a couple seconds and then generally get back to us with some code or an explanation of how we can calculate what we want to do. Perfect. So it looks like it's converting sign up date to date time format, and then aggregating the click-through rate by each sign-up date. This is helpful because as you can see here, we have the sign-up date with the date as well as the time. So we're going to want to change that to a standardized format. My favorite thing about the chat is that you can overwrite the active cell. So I'm just going to hit overwrite active cell here. This avoids any sort of error that I would have from copy and pasting. I'm going to hit accept and then shift enter to run that code. It looks like it's coming up with a sort of plot here with the click-through rate and the different sign-up dates. This is interesting, but I'm not sure if we need these lines, and I'd also like to see this grouped based on groups A and group B. So I'm just going to write, great work with the plot. can we see this grouped by variant A and variant B? I'm also going to ask, is there a correlation or relationship between click-through and sign up date? Let's submit that. Great, so it looks like we have another set of code here. I'm just going to accept that and hit Shift Enter to run it. Now we have two different plots, one for A and one for B, but I'd really like to see both of these on the same grid. Perfect, so I'm just going to say, let's get variant A and variant B's data on the same plot. Also, no need for lines connecting data points. I really like the AI Copilot feature because you can customize and work with it to get exactly the type of visualization that you want. Accept once more, Shift Enter. Great, so now we have all of the click-through rates plotted based on variant A and variant B over time, ranging from 0201 to 0401. Perfect. This is just an example of one visualization. Let's say that we want to brainstorm better ways to visualize this data. I'm just going to say, what are better ways to visualize this type of data? It's giving us a few options: time series line charts, heat maps, faceted plots, box plots, and density plots. I think a heat map might be interesting here. Let's just say, let's do a heat map. As you're probably noticing, there isn't much of a visually apparent relationship between these two variables, but it's still interesting to see the different ways that we can visualize the data and look for patterns. Okay, so it seems like we're having a bit of an issue here, and I'm going to just go ahead and hit Fix Error in AI Chat to see if the AI Chat is able to fix that on its own. Great. Then I'm going to go back over here and hit Overwrite Active Cell. As you can see here, anything that would be deleted is going to be in red and added would be in green. I'm going to accept these changes and then hit Shift Enter. Great. So we have a bit of a complicated heat map here, but this is an interesting example of how the AI Copilot and Mito in general can be super useful when it comes to visualizations. I'm going to stop this specific analysis here, but in theory, if you wanted to change the colors or change the type of visualization, or even go back to that initial A/B testing correlation analysis with the variance that we had at the start, all of these things can be worked through using both the Mito sheet, or all three of the Mito sheet, the chat, as well as the agent feature. Thanks for listening, and let us know if you have any other use cases you'd like for us to explore.